Hey, another edition of Dolphins Today starts right now because we've got some brand new news hot off the press. And ladies and gentlemen, that is why you subscribe to the channel Dolphins Today, because when breaking news happens, we've got you covered on all different angles. And that is why you subscribe. Help us reach our next milestone, which is rapidly approaching. It's a testament to each and every one of you out there. So a huge thanks as we get closer and closer to 51K. But let's find out what that breaking news is. And it was just in the nick of time, am I right? Today was the final day the Dolphins could activate River Craycraft from injured reserve to the 53-man roster, and they made it official at the 3 o'clock deadline you see there. The roster move is official. River Craycraft coming off of injured reserve. I know that makes me really happy. It probably makes Tua Tagovailoa really happy, as well as Mike McDaniel. And here's a little recap on River Craycraft. Of course, he was injured on that game against the Denver Broncos in Week 3, where the Dolphins hung at 70. But he worked his way back from injured reserve. And like I said, today was the last day to be added to the 53-man roster. And lo and behold, they did it. So River Craycraft officially back and joining that wide receiver room, which is huge. So I know you want to show River Craycraft some love, so do it now in the comments. It's real simple. Type those 85s, and welcome back to the lineup, River Craycraft. Now, what have we been saying all week about River Craycraft in his anticipated return? His stats aren't going to jump off the page at you by any means, but he's a glue guy, right? He keeps that wide receiver room together. Great for camaraderie. And you look at the Dolphins wide receiver depth chart, where it was at before River Craycraft. Obviously, Tyreek Hill, the cheetah, on pace for 2,000 yards receiving. Hopefully going to break Kelvin Johnson's record for single-season receiving yards. He's always going to be your wide receiver one in a dynamic duo with the Penguin, Jalen Waddle at wide receiver two. Braxton Berrios has filled in nicely at the slot, but you add River Craycraft and Cedric Wilson. I think that's a huge addition to the Dolphins wide receiver room. And again, I'm not going to oversimplify it and insult anybody and say, oh, now that they got River Craycraft back, they can get back to scoring 70 points on teams. But I will say that River Craycraft is a guy that does a lot more than what just shows up on the stat sheet. I think he's kind of that comfort blanket for Tua Tagovailoa, and then just having that warm body out there will be a huge value add to this Dolphins offense. But I want to know from you, let me know in the comments, what's your confidence level with this wide receiver room now that River Craycraft is back? Scale it for me, 1 through 10. Now, the second part of this move, obviously, like I told you time and time again, and I'll continue to tell you, I'm not great with math, but 53-man roster, you add somebody to it, you got to take somebody away, and the Dolphins made it official today, waiving the cornerback Kelvin Joseph. And look, I'm not a fortune teller, but if I did have my crystal ball, he would have been one on the short list of possible cut candidates, because now that the defense is so much healthier, you get Jalen Ramsey back, Xavien Howard playing at a very high level. Obviously, Kader Kohu, another guy that helps at that corner position. Cam Smith, the second-round pick. And, oh, yeah, Eli Apple, he's a veteran. And Kelvin Joseph was just getting buried in that depth chart. So we kind of saw this one coming. You might be thinking, Jake, who is Kelvin Joseph? I don't even remember him. Well, go back to August. That's when the Dolphins made the trade to bring Kelvin Joseph to Miami from Dallas, and they swapped Noah Igbinoghene for Kelvin Joseph to bring him to Miami. So it was a real simple trade. You know, sometimes when those trades go final, you need like an Excel spreadsheet to keep everything straight with all the draft picks and everything else like that that's being exchanged. But this was one of the more simple trades, and it was just two guys that needed a breath of fresh air, that needed a fresh start, both Igbinoghene in Dallas and Joseph in Miami, and a couple of, I hate to use the term underachieving. It seems a little bit insulting, but sometimes the truth does hurt a little bit. So a pair of underachieving cornerbacks one being Kelvin Joseph that just didn't find his way in Miami. Either got buried on the depth charts, and now he is waived. So that's your roster update. And coming up in a little bit, we've got some more Dolphin news to get to. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is Game Time. Folks, I've been telling you about Game Time for months at this point, so you know the deal. They reward being a procrastinator. You're not getting yelled at for being a procrastinator. No, you're getting rewarded, and that's because Game Time guarantees the lowest prices on last-minute tickets. Also, with the Game Time app, you can find tickets the day of the event. It is tremendous. I'm not going to add a million syllables to the word, but you get it. It is an awesome deal with Game Time. Super easy to use app as well. And I like that you get a high-def photo on the app as well. So there's no deception, there's no doopity-doops and bait and switches. No, none of that with Game Time. You're getting the lowest price, last-minute ticket deals. It is awesome. Also great for concerts, too. So, yeah, get to Hard Rock Stadium, of course. We got hoop season starting as well. Go watch the Miami Heat. And, of course, with your concerts as well. Game Time's the one-stop shop for all of those. So, don't wait. Download the app today. And we got a deal for you, so listen up. Use that promo code FINSCHAT, PHINSCHAT, for $20 off your first purchase. I'm going to give it to you again, just in case you missed it. FINSCHAT, PHINSCHAT. And if you missed it the second time, then shame on you. No, I'm just kidding. We got it in the description and the comments as well. PHINSCHAT, promo code FINSCHAT. So terms do apply, but download that Game Time app today for last-minute tickets and the lowest price guaranteed. Now, I wouldn't call this necessarily breaking news because we've been aware of it, but NFL Films did release the first trailer of the in-season Hard Knocks. So we got kind of that taste, just a little taste of what's to come. And again, selfishly, hand up, I'm pretty excited for it, but we need to revisit some of the players' quotes around Hard Knocks coming to Miami and exactly how they felt. Now, again, watch the trailer. It will make you excited, especially if you're a Dolphins fan. But some of these quotes we got to get to. Let's start with Braxton Berrios, and he said, quote, "It's impossible not to feel a camera in front of you. The thing is, we want to make it as organic as possible. We want to make our building as normal as possible. So obviously there's a fine line. We're not here for a TV show. We're here to win games." I love it. The Braxton Berrios mindset is all about winning. Doesn't need any camera in his face. What did Xavien Howard had to say? You probably remember this one because it was a little bit colorful. "Cover your ears, kids." He said, "Hard Knocks is bullshit, especially during the season. No, I'm serious. I'm not a fan. I feel like being around cameras and stuff like that, I feel like we've got to do better. We've got to beat teams with good records. So I feel like before we get all the little fame that's coming right now, I feel like we've got to put in the work." And so obviously those are two guys that, again, I kind of appreciate how candid they are with you to tell you exactly how they feel about Hard Knocks being there. But it is what it is at this point. Those cameras aren't going anywhere, as we saw from the trailer there. Now, what did the leader of the team, Tua Tagovailoa, have to say about it? He said, "This isn't something that's for me. This is something for the entire team. The entire team has to figure out how they go about that as well. I know having conversations with some guys in the locker room for them, it's going to be tough as well." So there's a lot going on here. And again, I'm trying to put myself in the player's perspective. Obviously, I never played in the NFL, but having a camera in your face at all times while you go about your business, not the best. But selfishly, I am pretty excited to watch. But let me know where you're at on it. Give me that one-word reaction to the Dolphins being the in-season Hard Knocks team. Let me know in the comments. Because, look, I understand why they're a little bit reluctant, because I think you and I could both agree if a camera followed us around at work, people might see some things they don't want to see. We're not always the best at all times, right? And that's exactly what we've got going on here. But the theater of it all, the excitement, the camaraderie of giving you that behind-the-scenes feel will just help us get that much closer to our Miami Dolphins. So again, I'll say it one more time. Selfishly, I am pretty excited. Want to thank everybody for tuning in today, and a shout out to each and every one of you that have already subscribed. We are getting closer and closer to that next milestone. We've got a live show coming to you on Wednesday, so make sure you join us for that. And of course, our live watch party on Sunday in Week 11 of the National Football League as the Dolphins get set to take on the Raiders, needing to bounce back and need to get that 7th win on the season. Let's make it happen. Come early, come loud, and let's get after it. Shout out to my producer, Coop, on the ones and twos. Always a pleasure to work with him. And until next time, go Dolphins, fins up, and we'll see you next time on Dolphins Today.